You know, I'm
It
gonna,
it,
I'm
it
gonna,
asked it asked to do one, but we don't
yeah,
have an
do,
intro.
do, yeah, fucking press the button because I'm watching the screen the same time. So I'm watching at your live stream, my live stream, and then looking at the StreamYard at the same time.
All right. I don't know if it started.
There we go.
Oh, I'm getting an echo. Like I'm hearing you.
I'm punching down. There we go. I think we are there. I think we're there. What's up,
I think
everybody? This
so.
is it. This is it. This is the first live Q&A, Labocosmetica fueled with me, Reggie Cox. If you don't know me, I'm the guy from Labocosmetica. And then next to me as hosting, moderating, channeling, doing everything except, he's doing everything. Mr. Nick Parks from Parks Car Care, ladies and gentlemen.
How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, it's great.
This is my first time doing a live. Well, I've done TikTok lives a lot, so I've got all the dashboards up. I'm just trying to get my head around it, but I guess okay. Yeah. This is cool, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
cool. I couldn't get it to connect to Instagram though this time. I'll be able to for the next one. But for now it's just YouTube and Facebook.
This is it, man. This is the first one. You have to start somewhere. I would say I'm curious. So now we have to do something I've never done before. Apparently, in StreamYard, you can press a button, and then it one said private chat, so it's a chat between me and Nick, and then it says comments. Now, I've been watching a lot of live streams, and normally, there's this name popping up. It's either first from Puerto Rico or it is Corey Plastina. And for the first time, I see Mr. Adamo Chimarillo, see popping up number one in the comments. He was the first, and he beat
First.
Corey. Amazing, fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, Corey, I do appreciate Corey. He went through and did timestamps on all the videos that you and I have done so far, all the podcast episodes. So I need to get with it with AI and get it to put them there into the videos for people watching the old episodes.
Yeah, it's great because I'm happy this is the first one. This is for us also, at least for me. Mostly, I'm just a guest. I'm a guest now as well, I guess. But mostly, I'm just sitting down and then listening to the other guys. But now I'm actually also looking at the comments, and I am not the man that is doing two things at the same time. So if there are not too many viewers, then maybe I can keep up, but or else I'm just going to be overloaded. So let's start with the show, man. Do you have a question, Nick? Is there something that you would like to know? You know, you as the man himself.
Questions I have, man. Our last episode, you dropped so much stuff on me that I had no idea what was going on, like new products in the pipeline and things like that. You said most of it's set for what, Automechanica? Is that right? So that's like in the fall.
I'm
Is that
guessing
same time as SEMA or around the same time?
No, earlier. So first week of September, early September, first week of September, I believe the Automechanica is. And as usual, I guess SEMA is late October, early November, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
last year it was wow, my memory's terrible. I think last year it was November, early November. Yeah, because I remember I was here for Halloween. So
okay, Corey, pop some data inside. Please look up for us when the official launch of SEMA 2026 is. So I know you're listening, so please help me, man. And by the way, nobody knows this, but I've been working around the scenes, a secret project, that has so much secrecy. You know, there's somebody that asked me for some certain stuff, Mr. Corey himself, and he said, "Okay, you want some stuff? I will get you some stuff, but you have to do something for me." So I said to him, "Listen, man, what I need from you is I need you to go outside of the box with Vadius. You know, the all-around cleaner. You know, you could call it an APC, but it's not because this is the first product in its category. So you have Vadius and then you have nothing else. So yes, of course, it's an APC, but so much more." So I said to Corey, if you can go outside of the box, and we know how crazy Corey is with his Labocosmetica shrine that he has at home, maybe it was a good idea. So he went outside of the box and he showed me some amazing clips. So I'm still hoping that he's going to go edit this and show it to the rest of the world, because he did cleaning, he really went outside of the box. He was in the kitchen, he was in the garage, he was in the living room,
Mhm.
he was everywhere.
My
But you could
my
actually,
my stepfather, I just gave him a bottle of Varius and Texia because I put him on O&R like legitimately like over 10 years ago. And I was like, hey, you can mix this and use it for little stains around the house and stuff. And he's just once he gets into a regimen, man, it's hard to get him off. But I was like, please just use this. Like it's so much better. So I'm eager to hear his report back because he'll use it on everything, around the house. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm interested to see what Corey sent me a couple of pictures of like different things he's got now with it. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's going to be cool because this kind of a product, this kind of a products, if you do it only in the car, you are going to get through the substrates pretty fast. You go through the plastics, the
Hmm.
leather, the vegan leather, yeah, maybe plastics paint. There's not much materials going on in the car, some fabrics maybe, but when you go outside, and I have to do the same thing because if you cannot explain a product scientifically, there's nothing left to say that it's a magical product. Now, then you have to
Hmm.
see how far this can go. How much of a magical product is this, and how much can we put out of it, and how much? And my brain is limited. I'm in development brain. I would say my brain is more into the development stage. So how can I develop a product? And then the using is becoming less and less. So I'm more dependent on other people that tell me, "Hey, Reggie, I found out you can do this with the product. And you can do this with the product." And this is how I learn, and I take that around the world, and then I try it for myself. And then during a training, I say, okay, let's see how this stuff does live, and then we go to, let's say, see what this stuff can do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So DIY driven GA's got a good question. Any
Tell me.
plans to rework iDrosave or
For,
HPC?
for sure, for sure. Let's say HydroSafe for sure. It needs to have a what do you call it? A non-protection side. And there was something funny story because Fabio is the Italian me, so to speak. He is the original OG of the trainers. And he once said to me, and it's basically okay. This was a rinseless, but he was talking about a QD, just a quick
Hmm.
detailer, and he was saying, I would like to have a QD detailer that just cleans, nothing else, but really cleans. I spray it, wipe it, it's done, it's clean, but it doesn't leave anything behind. The same should be
A
manageable with.
QD, like a quick detailer?
Yeah, that's what Fabio really wanted. He said, I don't want any
Hmm.
gloss, anything,
Okay.
just something to clean. Just simple. The same philosophy.
Wouldn't that
Maybe we
wouldn't
could.
that be more? I mean, I know this is like semantics, but wouldn't that be more of like a waterless wash? Is that what you're
Yes,
describing? Like something to like get like
agreed.
bird droppings off or whatever?
Agreed, but then more, even more. This it can do more than a waterless wash because then indeed it would be a waterless wash. So something so easy, so simple, so fast that could be, cleaning something. And for HydroSafe, it should be the same. Now I have been looking, and I know this is a Labocosmetica podcast. I know, but you have to give credit where all the videos I've seen so far from a rinseless that does only clean, is pH neutral, has no warning labels. I have to give hats off to Build Hammer for making that fat nude. That is going to be a good
I saw a
inspiration.
video on that last night. Someone was comparing it to the Koch Chemie Rapid Rinseless, which uh, again, I feel bad saying this, but like when I use the Preludio system, that's normally my neutral wash is the Rapid Rinseless, and so he did the what would you call it? The
Fat,
fat
fat
new
nude. Fat nude.
fat new. Okay. He was comparing it to Rapid Rinseless, and it seemed like that he favored the Built Hammer one. So I would love to see a. It's actually a question I get comment or often is, are they going to make a rinseless that has no protection in it, like a pH
Uh,
neutral one?
We,
So
we we have to do that, and Bill Hammer did it in an incredible way, incredibly chemically. What it can do in concentration, it is really a chemical novel. It's in the same range as Varius, and Varius is not neutral. Varius is anything. I don't even know how to describe it, but that making something so safe and without any issues, without any hazards, dangerous chemicals, nothing inside, and then make it clean so well. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. So that's good for us because if somebody sets a new benchmark, then there is the standard is going to be that benchmark, and then we have to overachieve that. So maybe we can take inspiration from Yeah, indeed. Marco will definitely take that challenge for sure. For sure. So we're going to go to kick the lid. Oh, no, no, it's not the right way to say it, but we are going to challenge that and see if we can
Yeah.
upgrade and make something new. Now, the
What?
HPCs have been standard for, have been launched since last year and the year before, I believe, 2 years ago, 2024. I'm going to say 2024, yes. So we are working on the spray coating. The spray coating should be if finished, if not almost finished. No, it's been a while since I've been in Italy. Been traveling a lot. Been a lot at home. But we have almost finished that spray coating. That spray coating is definitely going to be something else. It's not going to be a traditional spray coating. It is going to be spray coating Labo style.
Nice. That's exciting. Let's see. Varius, or not Varius, I'm sorry. Let me go through the comments here. Oh, yeah, that was Varius. Varius in larger sizes. I think that's already a thing, right? It's just not here. I believe that's on our next order. That's like either being manufactured or is on the way. So we
Varius,
will.
Yeah, 1 liter for sure is already in production. 4.5 is also in production, and the half liter or the 16 ounces also already in production.
Let's see. Difference between the rinseless 3 pH system versus the non-rinseless system. Well, the rinseless, you don't have to rinse it away. And
That's
so
one.
like Primus and Purifica, you do have to rinse, and Primus and Purifica are going to be, the stronger variants. But I remember when Preludio came out, I was asking you, I was like, is this actually like any weaker? Because I still, like, at least on the acidic Preludio, I feel like it does as good of a job as Purifica as getting like the lime scale off the coatings and stuff. It's powerful.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is
strong.
powerful, true. But if you put them next to each other, by definition, already the dilution ratio makes them set apart a lot. Just like you said, the Primus and the Purifica, you need to rinse off. You need kinetic energy in the form of water. The Preludios are capable of being wiped off, so their surfactants are completely different. They don't need rinsing, and therefore they will be less potent. Is maybe the right way to say it. And the other thing is, if you, indeed, but you have to go to the extremes to find the limitation. So if you go into extremer ranges, you will find out that Purifica is indeed stronger and has more capabilities of reviving or removing water spots. But on the other hand, if I use I used Preludio acid a couple of weeks ago on a boat to get some water staining off that has been lying in the boat for I don't know how many years. I was amazed how much it could take off. Point taken, I did it pure, so there was no dilution. There was a lot of dwelling time, and I did some mechanical action. So really to say how much of a descaling power it had was difficult to say, if it was more the mechanical action or the chemical itself or the time. But indeed, it turned out great. I also have some videos about that, and I'm probably going to make a separate video where I'm just going to discuss. Probably do it like here in StreamYard, and then put the videos up and then record everything and edit that recording later on to make it more like a fitting story, to give some context. And it will be a nice addition for the Preludio acidic, because as you said, it is extremely potent in the right cases. So a certain spectrum of the inorganic contamination, it will probably not be very successful for the rust type of and the mineral type of stuff that you find on the walls, but for the more gradual stuff that we find on the car, for sure.
Yeah, I've been extremely impressed with it. I always try that first before I go to Purifica on the truck, just because I'm like, hey, if I have these few areas that are affected, I can obviously save time with the Preludio versus getting all the pressure washer and everything out. So let's see here.
Oh, I see a good one.
Clear Coat Confessions Discord. We were just talking about that. So there is Discords for detailing.
Really? Good to know. We got to get on there as well.
I know. I've thought about that. What was the one you were seeing?
I saw the one from Carl. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, that's a good question.
Okay.
I'd love to discuss this one. Now, this is extremely important.
Question.
I love these kind of questions, because these questions should be asked all the fucking time, always.
Hmm.
Who is saying it and why are they saying it and what kind of a proof do you have behind it? Now, I am not a chemist, so I cannot prove anything, but I know that we are following the REACH certification. So we are at least going as much as we can with REACH and CLP. So REACH and CLP are the legislation for Europe, the strictest in the world. That's why you find on the Labocosmetica bottle everything that needs to be necessary, from danger labels to the most ingredients to the risk and safeties. Everything is on the bottle because we follow that legislation. Now, what he's saying is absolutely true. So there are a huge amount of different types of PFAS, and for sure, there will be PFASs that will not be in that database or not yet in that database, or if somebody maybe invents a new type of PFAS that is not in that database. But we are for sure not taking those type of chemicals. So we actively avoid everything. So imagine if we go to a raw material supplier, that we buy a certain ingredient that is a collection of other ingredients to make that ingredient, then we still will figure out if it's in there or not. And I can tell you a story that backs this up, and you can see how far we go with this. So a little bit side questing, but okay, this is a live stream. So a couple of years ago, we started selling a product in Korea. And before we can sell in Korea, we had to sell the product to give to the government for testing. Now, it was a cleaner for, I don't remember, plastics or something. The Korean government did testing, and they found ppm of formaldehyde inside, so parts per million formaldehyde. And they send us back. They say, you cannot sell this product because there's ppm of formaldehyde inside. And then we said, well, wait a second. We don't even have ppm of formaldehyde in the formulation. It should not be in there. So we started research inside of the company, started to figure out, okay, where did the formaldehyde came from? Is it something from our production line? No, because those products are not being produced in the same line where these products are being used, or these ingredients. And we go further, and we figured out that in the raw material supplier, there had been a cross-contamination where formaldehyde was added to the raw ingredient that we bought from them, and therefore ended up in the final production of the formulation and then landed in the hands of the Korean government. And when we found that out, we notified the raw material supplier, said, hey, there's formaldehyde inside. You got to check your shit because we don't want that stuff inside of our products. So we resolved the situation. And it's the same what we do with the PFAS. So we are very selective. So we actively have somebody going around the world, not so much to traveling. I know there were a couple of guys who were actively traveling around the world, finding newer raw material suppliers, the more higher grade chemicals, anything better to keep going, and to find better stuff to make the products even better. So we know for sure that if something contains PFAS, and even if it's not the one from REACH, then there would be, I would say we were the first to say it. 2019, we were the first to kick out PFAS, actively following certifications and legislations. And that's just the philosophy that we have to follow. That we have to go for this. But can we prove it? By definition, everything at a certain level, we are not even to prove, because then you will have to show us have to show you the formulations and stuff like that. But I hope at least that a certain amount of trust has been gathered over the years, that we stand by what we say, and we stand by what we do, and we will not deviate from that. It's not like we are going to change in a couple of years and say, okay, we're going to secretly put PFAS in there to make the products better, because we understand the risks and safeties that come with this stuff. So absolutely fantastically good question. And finally, these kind of questions should be asked to manufacturers all the time, every single day. Well, you saying it's not in there? How can you prove it? And who's saying that? Because like I said, I'm not a chemist. So basically anything I say you cannot trust, because I am not educated to talk about these things. The only thing I'm doing is forwarding information that I have already known or researched myself.
It really is a good question, because when other brands started marketing the no PFAS thing, I started researching that a little bit, and pretty much everything you just said, a lot of what you just said is what came to light, is that it is like a moving target, because of the database and the constantly there's new ones being created, and so it's hard to keep up with. So there is a level of trust, but that background you just gave shows how on top of it you guys are. So
yeah, I support everybody that wants to break the balls of any manufacturer. So if you have issues with these, you can always ask me these questions. I welcome these questions. I'm not scared of these questions. If there is no good answer that I can give you, I will go to the people that can give me that answer, because I think this is very, very important. And at the end of the day, we are dealing with very always dealing with chemicals, and none of them are good for us. I mean, if we drink them, we probably all die. So I welcome these things. This type of a criticism is going to force manufacturers to make better products. There's a reason everybody's getting on the anti-PFAS train now. There's a reason for that, because they know how bad it is.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just a matter of which ones are being thorough about it, and which ones are just kind of maybe avoiding the few main ones, or however that works, and then saying, oh, it's completely free of all PFAS. That's two very
Agreed.
different things. So
Totally agree.
all right, let's see here. New Aqua Velox was the part that makes this product different to any other glass coating or sealant.
So, point taken. What you say is, I believe, hit ballpark home run type of a question. What is it going to make it different? If it has to stand out, it would be, the first thing is that the duration so far has always been disappointing to me. So I don't know what we are going to put on the bottle, what the duration is going to be, or the promise of the duration. What I know is what I've experienced myself. I am at 12,500 miles now with a single application of this product. I tell you honestly, from 11,000 miles, the hydrophobics in the lower speeds were going down. There was visibility during rain, yes. At the higher speeds, there was still beading and sheeting, yes. These products don't need to last that amount of time. There is no cracking of the coating where the windshield wiper stops. That is a big benefit for me. The application was, I'm going to say, don't want to say super easy, because that's typical a YouTuber word to say it's super easy, super fantastic, super, but it's actually really, really easy. Let me say it like that. And the biggest benefit is, so you're driving in a highway, you're driving and it's a wet road, and there's splash coming from the tires in front of you from the truck, either from the other car or a big semi truck. And normally that micro droplets are going to ghost up your windshield, and they don't hydrophobic anymore. The droplets are too small. There's not enough mass to start to roll off. This is what that coating did. This coating did. I drove behind trucks because, I drive from my house to Italy, 1,000 kilometers or 600 something miles, dominantly through Germany. So about 400 miles is in Germany, 500 miles is in Germany, a little bit in Switzerland, a little bit in Milan. But that road in Germany, that's where I saw it for the first time, that it was still clearing up, even when the droplets were super tiny. Shit, I said super again. Fuck. Droplets were really
so out of those 11,000 miles, what percentage of them would you say you had wiper blades running? Because that to me is the impressive thing. Is like,
from 3.
A lot of them can be quite durable if you don't run the wiper blades.
From 3. So it was also in a very short time period. But on the other hand, I was lucky that there was a lot of rain. I had a lot of sand when I came back from the rally. The car was standing still for a week. There was so much sand on the car. Let's say it was desert sand or Sahara sand, I don't care. But there was contamination on the car. The windshield was clogged up. I kept it alive. I washed the car a couple of times with Renova because the car is covered in PPF. I also did a Purifica wash. I also used Nitido from time to time. I was under a tree that had some berries type of a fruit, so I had to remove them. And the windshield wipers have been on for at least since, I would say, in the interval. So not constantly, but to use the interval. So when it was raining, you have the interval after so many seconds to put the windshield on. And from 5,000, they will be almost always on. So no exaggeration. Coating is not going to be that expensive, so a reapplication is definitely possible, because you and me are both fans of the big spray and go products that you can just apply every 2 weeks. Don't need that big of a duration if the operation of reapplication is super easy.
It's easy. Yeah, for sure.
I've been watching too much YouTube, man. The word super is slithering in there.
What's the other one? Game changer? Game-changing product? Game changer. Can TPR be used on the interior?
If the question is literally, can you use the TPR on the interior? I can say, yes, you can. The other question should be, is it absolutely necessary? So I will think of at least two of these areas why I could put it on. The getting in part of the car, don't know what you call them. You open up the door, they're on.
Yeah, like in the door jamb, or the people call it like a kick panel or something, but I've always just called it like the door jamb, trim.
Door jamb panel, the kick panel, that type, fantastic, absolutely, for sure, can definitely be done. I would avoid the cockpit or the dash in front of you. Definitely, I would avoid that. And for the rest, I would say in the trunk, there are definitely some possibilities to put this on because it dries really fast. The wipe off is almost unnecessary unless you apply a lot. And I had a really good question. If nobody's going to ask this, I'll say this. It was a German guy this weekend. He came to me and he said, "Reggie, I was doing a car that had or an engine or a bike, I don't remember, but he had extremely porous plastic, and it was basically impossible to wipe off. So he could apply, so it flowed into the plastic, but there was no chance of him getting a towel or microfiber or anything over the surface." Then he asked me the question. Exactly. He asked me the question, "Can you spray it?" And we already tested that. I tested that together with Dino from the Netherlands. And if I need anything
through
cool,
like a air gun, right? Not like
yeah. But you will need to wear gloves, of course, wear a mask, wear something for your eyes, and cover your clothes completely. And don't blast it anywhere other than over the plastic. But it is absolutely sprayable. And after you spray it, you really don't need to wipe it. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. But it's more like a pro operation. I'm not, I would say, skilled enough to perform this operation because I will be the guy that makes runners. You know, I spray too much and you have this runner, and if you cannot wipe it off, you have a runner of a coating. And anybody that used TPR so far has found out that when the towel dries up, you almost have like a blindo hardness inside of the towel. It crystallizes really strong.
It's probably a rabbit hole because I'm sure it depends on the brand of coating and the technology and all that. But anytime I would see spray coatings, isn't there like a lot going on though with like the wiping of it? Like in terms of like when you're applying it like specifically on clear coat, you know, or like a painted wheel. If I see people like spray wheel coatings, and I've tried that in the past, but when you're moving that coating around on the surface and with the applicator, and then you're taking the towel and moving it around, isn't there chemistry going on, like things going on to sort of like activate it, so to speak?
Yeah, the bonding process, the linking,
pushing it around like that versus like just spraying it and then there's no wiping involved. Like I imagine it wouldn't last as long, right? Like you're not.
There are specific ones. So I know for sure one Modesta BC06. It is the definition of a spray coating. It literally spray coating. You spray it on, you don't wipe it off. Amazing product. Has been legendary for years. Doesn't give you that protection that you need, so you need to cover it with something else from that range, but it's not designed for that. And then I heard about 2 weeks ago that they can do the same thing with HPC2. I am very curious how they did it and how much of you indeed is going to say how much of a duration is actually going to be there. But this guy was also so incredibly skilled with that little airbrush gun that he said I misted it on so thin in a couple of times that I was not necessary to wipe it off. If that's true, I would have to verify that myself to validate that if that is actually true. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to this guy that has skills enough and experience enough that what he said is actually true. Assumption is a killing in this game, so I'm not going to assume, but I can say that this guy is probably for sure capable of doing this. Yeah.
The only time I could see it being helpful are like wheels that are insanely complex, or plastic that's like super detailed and intricate. Like a lot of these cars now are coming with these crazy trims. Like spraying, you could probably, even if it didn't last as long, you're getting an even application and you're not leaving high spots or not able to reach certain areas. Like you just can't get an applicator in there kind of thing. So I could see that.
Especially if you have a 3-piece wheel like a BBS. If you have to do that by hand with the suede, good luck, man.
It's crazy.
You need baby hands to get into those crevices. That's for sure.
All right, VDA certification. Certs only matter where they're done. Are any of these certs valid in multiple countries such as the USA? I thought VDA was the manufacturers of the cars, right? Saying that it's safe for the surfaces on the vehicle.
Yeah, so there is this independent body. The VDA stands for the Verein der Automobilindustrie, German automobile industry, something like this. Verein der Deutsche Automobilindustrie. So it was invented by Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes. They said they put their heads together and said, listen, we need to figure out if these oils, because it's not only chemicals for car wash, it's also lubricants for engines, cooling fluids, brake fluids, dimensions for car wash tunnels. So they help them design the tunnels so they know the measurements of the car so they don't destroy the car. Then you have the chemistry, and they just have a huge collection of different substrates. So they have pieces of trim, pieces of paint, pieces of plastic, and they just have a huge database. And that database is what they test the chemicals on. And then they just test the chemicals on, and there's different types of VDA testing. So I believe you can do VDA testing until the extent so that everything is 100% safe. And you could also do VDA testing in the range of the use of the product. So if you stay in the respected dilution ratio, you will be 100% safe. But if you go outside of that and you increase percentage or you increase your dilution, then
you're on your
you
own.
go,
Yeah.
you basically go into no man's land or in
Yeah.
anything can happen land. But it's, I believe so. I know for sure they do not only German cars because we had one product that we wanted to test and we wanted to get that certification. So the problem is you pay for the test, and if you succeed the test, you get the certification, but you will have to pay for the test. So the test is not guaranteed. The money is going to be lost either way, or you succeed and you get the certification, or you don't. And in this case, we were designing you could call it an acidic APC. Oh yeah, that's what we were designing, and it was, I would say, close to finished, and it was going to be legendary. So it would be an APC that you can remove lime scale and degrease at the same time. So you have some grease in the door jamb. You have that grease from the door jamb or the hinges inside, and then some lime scale, and then you add one product and can do twice instead of then using a water spot remover and using an degreaser or an APC to get rid of it. They were doing the testing, and they found some spotting on one specific type of an engine of a BMW that was only being produced by one type of motorcycle and on a wheel hub from a Peugeot, so a French brand. So there is many different types of substrates. Now we also know, and the VDA didn't have to tell us that, is that we know that these manufacturers do not always buy and make their substrates or their accessories themselves. A lot of that is coming from a certain country, the other side of the world, and a lot of them are buying from the same manufacturer. So when you say, but I have this, you remember if you take off a Seat, Seat is from Spain. If you remove the Seat logo, there's a Volkswagen logo in between, underneath. It's the VAG group, and there's many others that do the same thing. So General Motors also has a huge selection of brands that they use, and they also have the same type of manufacturer where they buy the accessories from or the parts from, or they produce their parts, because not every manufacturer produces everything themselves.
Every piece on the car. Oh yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Of course. Are any of the interior products certified antiviral and antibacterial? If so, what are they certified good for?
Very good question. Another good question, man. My God, the level of questions is
Yeah.
amazing. We got to do this more. I'm being put on the spot, man. It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. Good questions. Okay, we got two. Number one, Omnia 2.0. Number two, Derma 2.0, the cleaner. During the 5 years ago when we have that certain bug flying around with the stuff, and you remember back then, 5 years ago, the whole world was going crazy, and we were also almost closed down because of this. And then we started making the antiviral type of a products and the sanitation type of a products, and we revised two. So we added two to Derma 2.0, the leather cleaner, and Omnia 2.0. We added some certifications. I have to think about which one they were, but there are three of them, and you can look them up. So if you have the bottle of Omnia and you have the bottle of Derma, there's a little. It's a yellow banner on the side, and on the back you will find the testing, and you can find the UN testing that certifies the level of sanitation. You will also find how long the product needs to be on the surface. So this idea that we had, or that was pushed and forced upon us, is that we walked inside of a store and there was this hand sanitizer, a little bit of alcohol, and we make two pumps and we just scrub our hands like this and we were sanitized. If that were really true, then they didn't have to do 15 minutes of hand scrubbing, and then a surgeon didn't have to put on 4 pairs of gloves, and somebody else needed to put the glare off. So the idea of sanitation is a little bit further than what we think. So there needs to be done more. Now, in this case, for sanitizing with Omnia, for example, the product needs to be on the surface for, let's say, 1 minute, 2 minutes to actually achieve that sanitation level. So it's not spray and wipe, it's sanitized. No, you have to follow that. I wish. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm going to try something. I'm going to do two things at once. I'm really bad at this, so I'm going to try to do this at the same time. And then we are going to trying to find a presentation, because I know for sure I can do slides from a certain presentation. And I'm going to go to my computer, and then this is probably not the smartest thing of me to do this, because I'm not.
You're good.
It's 50 MB, so it's smaller. Maybe I can go to something smaller, because I have the screenshot. Maybe. Okay, I promise. Okay, I promise. I promise to fix this. I'm going to find that slide. I'm going to post that slide on my Facebook channel. If you can find it, Reggie Labocosmetica, on my Facebook page. I'm going to post that picture of the sanitation of Omnia, because it's in the presentation. But I am not a very good tech guy.
It's all good, man. I saw, well, like you said, it's on the bottle, and also, I hope I'm not butchering his name, Adamo. He threw the UNI certs in here too, so you can just throw those into AI or Google. Yeah. I mean, it'll give you a detailed rundown on what it does and does not provide in terms of that. So it's a good question.
Maybe I can do it the other way, by just selecting one page, and then if the one page can do it, there we go.
Throw it up there.
I almost had it. How to do this one slide? I can just put up one slide, because I can select the picture. And maybe I can do something else. I can do share screen, so you can look with me. Let's see if I can do that.
While you get that up, I'm gonna go run the restroom really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Let me see. Okay, I have to practice this. This is very unprofessional, ladies and gentlemen. Very sorry for this. I'm trying to do something I've never done before. During a podcast or during a live stream, literally sweat is breaking all over the place. I know for sure I have that in the presentation. I always present it in Labo, and then we have the situation about how to explain the sanitation level, because it's I would say, hey, how can you state that something is sanitized without showing any certifications? And this question was also being asked during a training. And then I said, okay, well, we are here now live, so why as well not go online and try to find these tests, so you can see what these tests look like? Because of course, if there's a number on the bottle that says UN 12446 or something, or I don't know, these numbers, they need to count for something. It's not like we can say, hey, it's sanitizing because we are saying this. And again, I see a question popping up from Mr. Como 42222. With the studies on harmful perfumes are in the products, how can we know that Labocosmetica scent and perfumes used in the products are actually okay and don't have a negative impact on hormonal health? Now, that for sure is already by the legislation inside of the bottle. So if there's anything super dangerous inside, then it had to be stated on the bottle already. That also counts for the perfumes. So it's in everything that is going inside. So not only chemicals, but also the perfumes. The other thing is that I would say, I'm smiling because there's a very nice woman always coming to our factory with new types of perfumes and new types of scents. That is very interesting how they make these products, but it's absolutely a great question. But if there's anything on the bottle that is dangerous for hormonal health, it would already state it on the bottle, and it counts also for the perfumes. Again, we are REACH and CLP certified, legislated. That means that we are following the most strict rules. That's why you find everything that is about the product already on the bottle. That is, you find the danger labels, the risk and safeties. I agree, the letters are not that big, but if you have to follow the rules, you have to follow all the rules, and that legislation of the REACH and CLP is brutal. Even if it's 0.01%, it needs to be there on the SDS.
Yeah. Endocrine system's like a very complicated thing too. I mean, I notice you always wear PPE even with the Labocosmetica stuff, which is very smart in my opinion. Like the older I've gotten, I don't even like to take polishes and things like that and rub them between my fingers. And, you know, when you start to really look at what's in all this stuff, you want to use the safest thing possible, but also like, you know, I'm not going to sit there and just like put a bottle of Renova, as good as it smells, up to my nose and just sit there and like smell it. You know, it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah. It's
that's
a
common sense. Yeah.
true, true. It's a cultural thing, smelling the product. Because my first lesson in what's it called, chemistry, when we were dealing with some chemicals, the teacher said you take the product like this, or you take the like this, and you whiff it. You never put your nose inside, because if it's
Hmm.
ammonia, you will knock yourself out immediately. You will. It's like chloroform. You will knock yourself out immediately.
As I sit here and drink a bunch of artificial things in this energy drink, also probably not good for you. All right, let's see. There was another good one on here about coatings. Oh, well, before that one, this is a good one too. I've actually never even thought of this. The lubrication in Fiero.
Lubrication in Fiero. Aha. How does my God, the level of questions, gentlemen? I am very happy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to desktop, and then during downloads. No, that's also no. Okay, I was thinking I could fix this. Downloads, documents. No. Okay, try it again. Okay, so the Fiero, it works like this. Inside Fiero, there's normal lubricants. The lubricants are not the thing that is left behind. There is one of the ingredients that is either the abrasive or the powder or the cream or whatever is inside, that during polishing starts to heat up. So when it heats up, it transforms into something different. Just if you heat up water, it starts to turn into vapor, or if you heat up THC, it turns into THC delta 9 when you go about 157 degrees Celsius. Same
Mhm.
stuff, different compound. It's just transformed because of the heat. So when that happens during polishing, so you will need to generate some temperature. I'm not saying cooking up the paint, but Fiero needs some temperature to get that transformation going. If that transformation is done, that thing is then the one that's being left behind. The rest you wipe off, the lubricants you wipe off, and that thing is left behind. That then will help you accelerate the bonding of the coating. To see something like that, you will have to go to my YouTube channel and find Does Fiero Really Work video, I believe it is. And then you will see a perfect demonstration about somebody, Ross Arthur from Scotland, suggested this. He said, Reggie, how can I prove that this is working? And he set some parameters. I followed his parameters, and therefore we could prove that the bonding was actually about 50% faster with Fiero. Now, the next question is then, but can I also wipe it off? Yes, you definitely can, because there is a huge group of detailers that have been doing ceramic coating since the beginning of time, when Adolf Hitler was still the boss. Then they said, okay, listen, Reggie, I have learned that I need to wipe off all the time. There is no such thing as putting a ceramic coating on something in between. It will diminish the duration. It will not hold that long, and that is all. Those are all valid and good arguments to say I'm not going to do it. So Fiero is definitely going to be able to be removed with Veritas. Need a good panel prep, not just a ready-to-use one, but really a good one. In this case, Veritas, good dilution, and then make sure that you double check, triple check, quadruple check the amount of time you're going to apply, because Sonus is still being rejected because the surface tensions will be broken, so you will have a smoother surface. The installation will be much easier with Fiero. There's less drag of the suede, less drag of the
Oh yeah.
microfiber. All benefits coming, but if you still need to be hardcore and you want to say, no, I want to put it on bare paint, you can definitely degrease, but you need to do double, triple pass if necessary to make sure that everything is gone. And that is basically what Fiero does. It is an extremely complicated paper. If you read self-assembled monolayer technology, it's, I would say, almost impossible for me, it's impossible to make a clarification or a good story about how this is actually working.
Yeah, I've never thought about the lubrication part. That's interesting, but uh, I try to strike the balance of like the chemistry side of things, because I'm not a chemist and I know less than you do by a lot about that aspect, but just what's practical, like practical application. And I've not seen any durability issues with it. In fact, even before I was using the Labo products, other primer polishes from different brands, I had generally good success with them. And when it comes to certain paints that are just an absolute nightmare to panel prep and coat, it was just one of those things where I started small, started with one car. It made me nervous at first because I was like, this goes against everything that I've ever been taught on the internet and how coatings work. And then uh, I've just had good results with it. So
So I
here,
managed to do something, Nick. I popped inside of our display. I found it. There you can see the slide from the presentation.
hmm,
In the left, it's gonna be a little bit. I have to enlarge my screen because I can look with you. But there you can see the parameters to get to where you can sanitize. So if it needs to be E. coli or the other, I'm not going even to pronounce them because I will go on my face. But to show how much you need to put it on, to see that it needs 5 minutes to do actual sanitizing. So not only the saying that it's sanitizing, but there are also parameters to make it sanitize. So anything stronger probably can do it faster. But these products are pretty mild, especially Omnia is a very mild cleaner compared to its predecessor, compared to its brother, the Ductile. Ductile is pH 11, non-caustic, and Omnia is pH 9, and Derma is also fairly high for a leather cleaner.
interesting. So 5 minutes. What does that
This is,
look like? Are you
yeah,
like using your duo pad and then you're just like letting it sit?
yeah, that's basically what you do. You make sure that the chemical is there for at least 5 minutes. This is probably the part where you do, I would say, the social media type, where you use a detail brush, the one that you actually only use for putting foundation on or blush powder
Yeah,
stuff, that type of a
yeah,
brush. And then you are
yep.
doing a sanitation type. You're really caressing the surface to add the chemical and let the chemical do its work. And then a professional ranger would probably go for a scrub pad in the form of a duo scrub or ninja scrub pad or something to speed up the process. But if you leave that in behind, then at least you also have some sanitation going, if that is actually your goal. Because
Yeah,
the sanitation part is, yeah, it's a nice benefit that we added, but it's not the main goal. The main goal is, of course, cleaning and fast
right.
cleaning and residue free cleaning and streak free cleaning. That's basically the main goal.
So I actually have an Omnia question. I have a customer of ours that he's a mobile detailer. So I feel like I know the answer anecdotally just from my experiences because at one point in time, like 13 years ago, I was doing mobile detailing. Um, and it's very hot here right now. It's humid outside. But with Omnia and Ductile, he has like specifically on like the Ford Raptors and then other makes and models, uh, where it's like if you say spray it into even a scrubber, like you're not spraying it directly on the surface, and you scrub and you wipe, it's like you can't wipe fast enough. And if you look really closely, it'd have to be a very particular customer or a detailer that would notice something like this. But it's like you can see kind of the way that you wiped or like the pattern of the towel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like with like a zero finish towel, how it has that like Korean weave, you can actually like see the impression.
yeah,
What I told him was I think it's my guess is it's the humidity, it's the temperature affecting things. And also I think it's different surfaces. Like certain plastic, it's like whatever coating they put on the leather and that and the Ford Raptors and the plastics in there, it just seems like a lot of cleaners react to it that way. So
yeah. And it's it's for me. With use of chemicals is cutting out variables. If
mhm,
temperature goes up, my dilution goes down. If I am going to use a lot of friction in the form of mechanical action, my dilution is going down. Dwelling time and
mhm,
higher temperature time is going down. So inner circle always comes to an effect when I'm using chemicals. And the
yeah,
definition that one of the things I like to use most is if I don't know, I'll start low. I'm going to take a
yep,
safe range and maybe even go off label. So if the manufacturer say 1 to 10, I will say, okay, let's try 1 to 20 first to see how it behaves. It's
mhm,
always easy to add a little bit more chemical in your dilution, but it's a lot. If you make 1 to 5, you find out it's too strong, and you have to make another bottle of 1 to 10. You already mixed two
mhm,
bottles, then you have to put the label on. You're creating more hassle, and susceptibility. So I will never trust a manufacturer, including us. It doesn't matter what they say
yeah,
to me, what the product does. I think it's great, but these manufacturers, including us, live for the sale of the product. So they will say and do anything to make that product attractive, or they will invent ways of selling it easier, going extremely in off-label uses. So you can never trust a manufacturer. You have to listen to either the representative and try it for yourself, and then generate some trust. That's why I try to do anything that I do in the videos that is real, because I love real. I hate fake. I love the real thing. And then when somebody says, I did what you did, Reggie, and I had great success, then I'm always happy. And if somebody says I did the same that you did and I didn't have success, I always want to know, okay, what was the reason? I really want to know.
Yep.
Because success is one thing, but a happy customer, I think, is much more important.
I agree. That's very well said. Very well said. Difference between STC HPC Pro and Blendo HPC Pro.
God, this is listen, from now on, I don't know how you are going to do this, but we need to do this every week. I miss these type of questions. I miss this.
Yeah.
There we go. So here we go. From a standpoint of Labocosmetica, the philosophy of the coating is divided in chemical and physical. When we talk about chemical coatings, we're talking about something that is not permanently there, is very chemically resistant, and is easier to remove with friction or abrasion or mechanical action. When we talk about a physical coating, we are talking about something that is left behind, that is not to be removed by normal mechanical washing of the car. So we will either have to do sanding or polishing. The main chemical difference, this is number one, is that Blindo is 100% physical, has no chemical protection whatsoever inside. It's just like a resin, and it adds a layer of resin or clear coat type of a substance to the car. Then they have STC. STC is 70% physical and 30% chemical. So there's already a hybrid, so a compromise. But the biggest compromise is that there is some chemical protection in itself. So theoretically, STC could survive by itself. However, both of them, either Blindo and STC, feel very rough after the application. It's not rough in the sense there is sanding disc rough there. It is more rough in the sense that there is something left behind. That is, it's like taking your finger over a wet balloon. It's smooth, but it's not silky smooth.
I only notice it when I take a towel. Like certain types of microfibers do it more than others, but you like move it across, you can feel that kind of
like running into a wall.
Yeah, it's
good
different for sure.
Yeah, that's the feel. Then you have the possibility that with Blindo, after a certain amount of time, the car, any ceramic coated car, is going to look like shit. Normally you'd say, okay, I would have to polish off everything. Blindo is polishable. So I'm going to say yellow pad, orange pad with Fiero, or a yellow pad with Leale, so like a medium polish with not too much pressure. You are able to polish Blindo back to natural splendor. So you get it crystal clear again. It's like polishing the clear coat. Benefit is you will be faster, 50% faster than on a normal clear coat. So if the normal clear coat took you about 4 hours, you'll take 2 hours to polish off Blindo in the same condition. Then you have the opportunity of reapplying a top coat in the form of HPC2, HPC Pro, or sealant or whatever. But there will be needing some regeneration of the topper. Now with STC, in a very theoretical way, it's also possible. But both of them, they are not going to be like a big and thick coating or something like that. It's nonsense. It's not possible to do that amount of thickness with a 30 ml bottle. It's simply not possible. Partially, it's also solvent inside, of course. And then you have the airing out. And I would say STC is then more smooth and more chemical protected. So in generation with HPC Pro on top, you will have more chemical protection with STC and HPC Pro, but you will have more physical abrasion type of protection with Blindo on top.
Yeah.
That is, I think,
I've always gone for Blindo for that reason, because I just feel like people are not very gentle with washing their cars, even if they do hand wash. If I had to choose one or the other, that's the route that I've always gone. Is the Blindo.
Simply the reality of the situation is there is no such thing as the perfect customer. You have 1 in 100 customers that does everything right, and that delivers the car back after 2 years, and it looks like it doesn't have to drive. And you got the same guy that just went after a week after the application, went to the car wash, never said he was going to the car wash. He said, no, I did bucket wash and mechanical hand wash by itself. Customers never make mistakes, and sadly, detailers also never make mistakes.
I've only had. It's definitely less than 5. It's probably 3 or less people that were like they checked off every box when it came to maintenance. I mean, like legitimately, like it was dedication. Like I was impressed. I was like, man, I don't even treat my cars that well because I don't have the time, But they really cared for it very well. So it's hard to find that. That's not usual. All right, let's see here. For wheels, switching between an acid and alkaline product. I'm not sure if he means like at the same time or like every other wash you're switching, or is it like you clean the wheel with an acid and then an alkaline right after? I'm not sure, but
I have to be honest. I will be honest with this one. In Labocosmetica range, Primus is very good as a wheel cleaner. Libera is also good as a wheel cleaner, but Purifica is definitely not good as a wheel cleaner. It lacks chemical potency to attack that what is doing the inorganic contamination or mineral contamination on the wheel. Sidero can do it, yes, but there's this culture where you add the chemical and then add another chemical. If you do that with an alkaline and an acid, you lose. One of them is going to lose. So the reason you're using an acid is for a certain reason. You're using it for inorganic contamination, and you're using an alkaline one for the other part. And if you combine them, if that was possible, there would already be a product, because that would then be the game changer of game changers. If you had a wheel cleaner that does all the aspects in one step. So logically, of course, you will start to try to see if I can add them to each other. But if you add Sidero that is acidic and you put Primus on top, you will diminish the power of Sidero. So you will either have to let them work out until they have worked out completely, because the fact, and I have to be careful, Reggie, you are not a chemist. With acidics, it's dissolving something. So there is a acid touching a inorganic contamination. There's a chemical reaction. It's being dissolved or being sequestered in such a small way that then the acidicness is going to drop and going to slowly move to neutral. That is normal. So if you put lemon acid and you put baking soda, you throw them on top of each other, there's a side effect. There's going to be CO2, because the sodium bicarbonate is double CO2. The CO2 is going to evaporate, and in the event the solution is going to be neutral. So switching in between, could Sidero then be a good one to be the first? I'll be honest, you will lose money on that one. It is better to get rid of that what is sacrificially on the surface. Yeah, to get rid of that what is sacrificially on the surface first. So that what is left behind is then more likely to be taken off with the follow-up of the acidic. There's a very rare cases where I see that an acid works really well as the first step. But they are there. I don't see them very much, sadly, but you will see that the alkaline one, a quick rewash with an alkaline one, doesn't even have to take very long. Even 1 minute to get sacrificial stuff off will make your acid one go a lot stronger and a lot better. A lot. And I'm Dutch,
yeah,
so if
it's
there's
like
anybody...
It's like using an iron remover on the paint. You wouldn't, like, I'm looking at my truck out the window right now. It's filthy. You wouldn't go straight to iron remover on the paint. You would wash it first to get all the organic crap off, so that the Sidero is actually coming in contact with the iron that's embedded in the paint. So same thing with wheels. I've tried for a long time. I did it that way, which I see so many people do this. Like you're saying, they spray the reactive wheel cleaner on, acidic wheel cleaner, and then they foam it with like an alkaline. I felt like it didn't work any better, and you're just using twice as many products. And so I switched to where I would do alkaline first and then use a reactive wheel cleaner if it warranted it.
Okay, so if it's a very strong one, so let's say something that in the wrong hands could damage the surface, you are working in, I would say, warmer conditions, and you don't want to stress the surface too much, and you are reaching the end of the potency of the chemical before it starts to dry up, and then you add, I would say, okay, then I can understand a little bit, and then you start, for example, you see a lot of scrubbing then happening, but still, I would still rinse the wheel first. I don't want to get that grit. This TikTok freaking generation, the wheel cleaning TikTok generation, 27 brushes, 15 foam guns.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then you get a 15-minute video. 13 minutes is wheel cleaning, 1 minute is polishing, and 1 minute is ceramic coating. And then you have the entire detailing video on TikTok. And you know that these guys have never polished black gloss wheels. You see that because they jam those tunnel brushes in there like they're going inside of Chernobyl, trying to get rid of that uranium that's stuck into the core, and they just jam that brush in there like rah rah, like there's no end to it. If you look at black gloss wheels too long, you already look into a scratch. You will make a scratch by looking.
Yeah.
So freaking sensitive are they? And you see that these people never ever polished black gloss wheels. Now, I did one set in my entire life. It is the only set because I'm never going to do it again.
No,
Finishing one wheel,
yeah.
you get a eureka moment. You like this happiness. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then you immediately dive into a micro depression because you know you have to do it 3 more times. I had one set of black gloss wheels. I will never drive black gloss wheels again, ever in my life. Ever. Never. Never.
It's that stuff is actually it's just absurd. Like it doesn't matter how careful you are, it is going to scratch.
It is.
I mean,
it is. There's only damage control, man.
exactly. Yeah. So it's more reason not to do the chainsaw approach, like you're saying. All right, let's see. Purifica.
Oh, it's even more. Oh my God. You can do 1 to 10 Purifica and it will not. The misconception, maybe it's not right to say, but the misunderstanding is that Beneficia is really chemically resistant. If you don't touch, you can test this for yourself. So without the friction, because it's just a spray sealant, a little bit of friction is enough to remove a wet coat. A little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of a strong mid wipe, you can already diminish the value of that spray sealant. But if you don't touch and you have Beneficia on the surface or Cupido or Vitax, you will find out that they are extremely chemically resistant, even for the caustic ones, pH 12 and up. Corrosive acids, they do not affect them. How do I know this?
You sprayed everything you could think of on them.
Yeah, also this, but there's this. I have my friend, one of my friends, a really good friend of mine, and he wanted to have an easy product to use, and I said, okay, I got you something. I'll get you some Beneficia. I'll show you how to use it because it's it's very simple. Don't say super, Reggie. It's very simple. I said, wash the car, and when it's wet, take a panel, spray 3 wipes off, spray 3 sprays on it, count to 10, and rinse it off. He says that's pretty easy. So the next week, his son comes, and he says, "Can you wash my car? And I'll give you this stuff. Make the car clean." And he just, you get the story again. And he made the story wrong, or the son thought something of himself. So he went to the self wash unit. He washed the car. He rinsed the car. And then he started spraying Beneficia. And it was pretty hot. It was in direct sunlight. And he started spraying the entire car. It was a Volkswagen T5, big transporter.
That sucks.
He used 750 milliliters on the entire car. Then he rinsed off, or what he thought was rinsing off. He was amazed by the beating. The beating was incredible.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was. So he drives home, and my friend calls me and said, Reggie, and he sent me a picture, and I said, what the hell happened? And he told me the story. He said, oh my God, that is definitely not what I said about panel by panel. Wait 10 seconds and spray off, rinse off. So I go there and I said, don't worry. We have I forgive you technology in Labocosmetica. If you make a problem with Cupido, Beneficia, and Vitax, you can use Perfecta 2.0 to take off excess residue, streaking, not so much of a problem. So I take the Perfecta, I spray it onto the surface, and it literally beats off. So it didn't flatten out. It really literally rolled off in little tiny beads. Then I said, don't worry, we always have something stronger. And in this case, it was Veritas. And I used Veritas Pure, and even Veritas beat it off like crazy. I started to rub. It was not able to be removed. It was chemically closed, extremely chemically protected. So Beneficia is extremely chemically protected. And I had to polish the car for about 5 hours. Not polish the car, but literally buff off the residue.
Yeah.
And it was protected for 10 months. We had 10 months of nice beating before it started to diminish. Don't try this at home, people. This was an example, an extreme case of how not to do it.
I had pretty much the exact same thing happen to a customer. It was not Beneficia, but it was another spray and rinse, wet coat type product. And I gave him the instructions, but I guess he just forgot or whatever. But he's texted me and he's like, "Man, it's like I got these spots and they won't come off." And I was like, how much did you use? And he sent me a picture of the bottle and it was like half gone. And I was like, no. So same thing. That was the probably like the third wash since after coating it. So there was nothing we could do to get it off. We just had to polish it and recoat it. It was a nightmare. So
If you only do it once, you'll never forget it again. So one of these life lessons, how not to do it.
You were just saying that you use that as a wheel cleaner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Is it like
great as a wheel cleaner.
similar Primus, like in terms of like effectiveness for wheels and tires?
On wheels, you will see a definite difference. On paint, normal paint, you will not see a huge difference between Libera and Primus, even in their respective dilutions, because the surfactants in Libera are more better for PPF, because the PPF the surfactants need to penetrate deeper into the PPF. They have to do more of the heavy lifting. So on normal paint, Primus versus Libera I would say the biggest difference is not there, but on wheels you will definitely see a big difference.
I'm gonna try that. Interesting. This would be a good I can't remember which episode number it was where we did the interior products, but we went deep into this topic.
Yeah, between the interior cleaners, are there specifically ones that function better on organic and inorganic types of stains of dirt? Absolutely. Glycol is the best for the inorganic, and this is the good example when you need two of them. So the most dominant contamination on the inside of the car is dust. And we figured out that during research that about 70% of that dust, what is flying around all the time, all the time, is inorganic. It's the incrustations in your seat. That's why we invented the brush, to get rid of that sacrificial dust that has been designed to trap itself into the fabric, so you don't get a dust explosion every time you sit down. That brush can sacrificially remove many dust. So this proves again why Labocosmetica is different, because who thinks of a brush that's going to save the sale of chemicals? I mean, who does that? You use this brush and you use less chemicals. That's typical Labocosmetica, because we think about solutions, making the day of the everyday life of the detailer better. And in Glico is the only case where you use the acidic first, for the first reason, that's because 70% of the dust is inorganic. But the other thing is, and now I'm using the example of Jurassic Park, where you have the barnstone or the amber. You have the amber, and in that amber is the mosquito. So if you say you have if I take, for example, I got some fruit juice over here. It's water right now, it's liquid, but if I let it dry up, I get this mixture of inorganic and organic inside of each other. So if there is something organic that is being encapsulated or covered by something inorganic like this, I can attack it with an alkaline one as much as I want, but I'm not going to break it free. I need to get something acidic in there to break open the inorganic, so it frees the organic, so I can take it with my alkaline one, and therefore making it disappear. So water stains on the inside of your interior, Glico, anything that is going to be inorganic, that's definitely the part for Glico and for the acidic one. Luckily, it's the one that got me back into interiors, Dan. I mean, it's most of the time you'll find out that Glico is enough. And for the parts, so I'll take the example of the, I don't know what the nice word is to say, but I call it the duct mouth, the suction mouth of the vacuum cleaner. It's mostly something from clear plastic, so you can actually see what you're sucking out. If you apply Glico and you process with Glico by brushing it, and then you start sucking it out, if there's nice white foam coming out of the seat, you know that it has done its job and there's nothing else. But in Glico, there's also like 20% of detergents, standard detergents. And those detergents affect the organic part. So when you are sucking down a seat and you find somewhere on the spot that the foam coming from the seat is actually not white, but another color than white, and I will leave that to your imagination what color that can be. So if it's green or brown or whatever, but that is that little spot. That means that your follow-up is only going to be at that spot. So you don't need to reapply your alkaline one or your fabric cleaner all over the seat again, because you just identified through the sucking with that duct mouth where that spot are, and that means that the drying phase is going to speed up, the processing phase, the chemical phase, everything is going to speed up because you already see that you only have to use it for that little spot.
Hmm. Do you find with like the encapsulation thing, is it typically an organic substance that's encapsulating an inorganic, or is it the other way around?
It's
Do I have that
the
backwards?
basically
Or can
you
it go
see it
both
happen.
ways?
It can definitely go both
Okay.
ways. But like
Okay.
I said, because the most dominant contamination is inorganic in the car, it can also say, okay, I'm not sure about this. I might as well start with the organic part first, do the inorganic or the acid, the alkaline first, and the acid. That's totally up to you. You
Yeah.
sometimes
I
you can
always start with
visualize.
Glico.
Yeah, me too. Because I hope that it's not going to go. Uh, that I don't need Ductilate. I can hope to can do it in
Yeah.
one step, and if I can do it in one step, but drying and then I'm done.
Yep. This is a good question. I've never even thought about that, which I do notice that the slickness. What do you attribute that to?
That's a good question. I'm gonna make my face looking up, so it looks like I'm inventing something. But to be honest, I think it's the consistency or the viscosity of the product that makes it. So it's
Mm,
not a gel. It's not allowed to say that, but it's closer to a gel than it is to a liquid. So they call
mhm,
it a hydrogel. That means that there is more dense liquid or this gel on the surface that is then creating automatically some more slickness. But it's simply just the gel or the amount of viscosity that is creating less drag versus a very liquid one that immediately when you start drying it up, it's dry to the touch, and then you have more rigidness during the application. But
mm,
I don't think it's something special inside because there's too much inside doing for the things that happen on the windshield, especially on the inside, airco vapor, air conditioning vapor, glycerine from the vape, nicotine, even water spots works very well on water spots. And then yeah, because it's more viscous, there's more there, so that's probably the reason why it's so slick during application.
it's not drying out instantaneously like when you wipe it. Just like reminds me of slip solution versus gel. They have
Yeah,
very
perfect.
different properties and very
Yeah,
different use cases, and one is better than. But yeah, like gel tends to be like that. It's not slip solution will dry up on you a lot faster than gel will, for
good.
sure.
Yeah, it's good analogy. It's perfectly compared like that. Yeah.
All right. Preludio drying on the paint. Should that be an issue? Uh, no, unless you're outside, I imagine, and you're letting it sit for too long, right?
Mm, cases like drying up. So what are we talking about? We're talking about deliberately spraying on the surface, letting it cook out into the sun. Then you will have to take in effect all the different types of clear coats there are in the world, where the majority would be 100% safe, or the residue would be easily be wiped off. But it could also be that it affects a somewhat of a previous applied layer of protection. So you could have spotting,
Oh yeah,
not because of the product, but that the product took off something, although by definition, Preludio is safe for your protection, but it's not safe for every single protection in the world. Some
right.
protections leave something behind, make a darkening effect on the car. A couple of years ago, I believe we had a case in the Labocosmetica tips and tricks group. Exactly something like this happened, and it looked like an absolute nightmare. But because there was only one picture and we had a description about 17 different chemicals being used to 100,000 touches, there was so much wiping with towels going on that there was no more data left to find out the real cause of the situation. But normal drying, as in early drying, with a homogeneous application. So many times you see that they say spray homogeneously from bottom to top, so they don't get the lines. Now these
Hmm.
lines are just you have a concentrated amount of chemicals running down to the surface. That can then
Hmm.
do something, of course, logically, but it's also with a rinseless. There's a reason why they say squeeze the sponge before you start washing because any I can make any rinseless streak, anyone. Just if it runs down in a concentrated form over the surface and you have this line running, definitely possible. But in the normal cases, and I've put it to the test with infrared and outside in sunlight. So no, by definition, if you use it correctly, you will not permanently damage the surface, and that what is left behind should be able to wipe off. So I say if you don't want to create a problem, don't make the problem itself, and then work a little bit faster. If the temperature is too hot, diminish your dilution. If you don't have much time, use more mechanical action. So play around with it, and if you don't know, again, start low. No problems whatsoever.
Something new going to be released soon. Check out the last episode of the podcast because that's basically the only thing we talked about. So there's like a good, I don't know what, it was like an hour plus on that.
Yeah.
So
Formulation
refer to
number
that.
7. We are at formulation number 7. We started again 7 times. The 7th time that we started. And if I don't know if this is not going to be the one, I really don't want to be a part of the projects anymore because it's like making 7 different recipes and then at 7 times. I think we are at the place where we need to be. So it's very time soon. If soon, it will be launched or presented in the Automechanica in September.
Yeah. So you got Aquavalox Pro spray coating. And you said you're looking into
Cupido
textile
2.0.
coating. Yeah, Cupido 2.0. There's a whole great episode
and
on this, so.
everything I say is maybe because I am not the decision maker. I'm merely the trainer and product developer assistant, so to speak. So what you could call.
First episode we did together covers this one. Yeah. So I would definitely go check that out. If anybody's not watched, we're up to 6 episodes now. So we'll post this one. So this will be a 7th, but we've gone over some really good stuff in this first episodes.
Short version. We go deep into Labocosmetica is the best of the best, highest grade of chemicals, solution, first acidic shampoo, first acidic textile cleaner, first to say openly the word alkaline again, everything VDA certified, and very short to say that Labocosmetica is 100% focused on the professionals. That's our goal target people. That's the one that we do this for. This is the one that we search for. And Maniac is power, performance, speed, and price. That's basically what you can find inside of Maniac. It's more, literally for the Maniac, the prosumer, the weekend warrior, the guy that wants fast acting results, easy to use products. What do you guys? Now it's a Dutch word, oversightly, but it makes sense that what you see in the bottle is already what you get. Water spot mineral remover, foam gun pre-wash, and when you look at Labocosmetica, you see that these products are being treated like children. They get their own special name. Because when a new product is born in Labo, you have to give it a name, and that is the biggest difference between Labo and Maniac.
Yeah, I mean there are people who want to use high quality products and achieve high level results, but they're not necessarily going to go down. You don't need as comprehensive of a tool set.
No,
you know what I mean. Like my customers, I can pretty much tell who falls into what camp. And sometimes it's a mixture of both. Like sometimes they use some Maniac stuff and then some Labo stuff. Sometimes I can just tell by talking to this person, they are going to, even if they're DIY, they're going to use all Labocosmetica. And then sometimes it's this person just wants, the Maniac route. It's not as, but Labo is always going to be the more comprehensive, for the professional, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Range. All right, this is actually a good question. Why do you not display the SDS sheets on the website?
That is because that is a very good question. So with us, because we have that information on the bottle, the necessity for the SDS becomes obsolete. Now, the many questions about the people that want to ask is about what is the pH level. That type of a question is not necessary for a SDS. It's the legislation states that you have to put the danger label, the warning signs, the first ad, so keep away from children. If you get in contact, rinse properly with water. So the first big rules of the risks and safeties. Also the most important chemicals, so non-ionic surfactants, the amount of percentage of that needs to be inside. And that is the biggest difference, that we don't have the SDSs online. They are, in some countries, they are online, absolutely, because the country validates or mandates them to be online. So you will find them on I would say, in Austria, for example. I know for sure in Austria they need to have and there are a couple of other countries, but I cannot name them for themselves out of my head. But the Point Shop AT, or it's Austria, the Point Shop AT, you will find all Labocosmetica SDSs because it's mandated by the country. And for the rest, everything that we need to state is always on the bottle.
Got it. This is a really good one. Varius versus Ductile.
Yeah.
Case uses. When would you use one versus the other?
I would use Varius for anything small. So if it doesn't need to be a full operation, so maybe even from one seat, I would already say I'm going to switch to Ductile. If I need more power, I would use Ductile. I would have to have more economical use of this product because it's more concentrated. 1 to 3 to 1 to 50 to 1 to 3 to 1 to 50 is the range of Ductile, and in that range you can do a lot with it. So you will definitely see that it's more professional use. Varius is then the one to be ready to use. It's the one you will have in your car. It's the one that you will use anytime with a small situation, and that's basically the biggest difference. Fast, easy, simple, Varius, and powerful, safe, and diverse with Ductile.
I think I'm getting lazier as I've gotten older with detailing because, like, Varius is just way more appealing to me because it's pre-mixed. That sounds terrible, but I'm like, I'm always going to try that one first because I'm like, hey, if it gets it done, same with Texia. I'm like, then I don't have to go through the, all the steps. True. And a lot of times I use that and it gets it completely done. And I'm like, cool, this is finished. This was easy and fast.
First aid. Immediately check if Varius can do it. If Varius can do it, I can always switch to Ductile. Basically, it's again, if you don't know, you start low. But in this case, with Varius, all the varieties of what you can do with this product is ridiculous. Types of glue you can dissolve with Varius. Types of grease that has been very old, you can dissolve and smelt. It's literally smelting, but not in an aggressive way because also Varius has no danger label. One of the safest products we ever made. Absolutely fantastic.
Let's see. pH level of Preludio alkaline and acid.
I believe, I'm going to say out of my head, I think Preludio acidic is 3 and Preludio alkaline is 10. Something like this.
Certain,
3, yeah, it's 3 and 10. Yeah.
Certain chemicals, I think we've talked about this on previous podcasts, but certain formulas like don't change the pH level even when you water them down, and some do, and it's due to like the chemical makeup of it, right? It's like with those two, does the concentration affect?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the concentration is also very low. So Preludio 1 to 10 on both ranges of the scale is the highest dilution to make it do anything in that range what you want it to do. So 1 to 10, it can do something still with minerals and water spots, and it still can do it 1 to 10 in the alkaline range to degrease something, to get rid of some bug impacts and stuff like that. But if you over dilute, you are getting close to very neutral. It's the same with Dermacleaner. Dermacleaner out of my head is something like 10, pH 10. If I dilute that 1 to 5, I'm already at pH 8. So it's not a concentrate that keeps its alkalinity. It's diluting so fast that it's going close to neutral. And Dermacleaner is a ready-to-use product. For the
concentrated products, the pH level that's listed, is that at the recommended dilution, or is that the pH level of it just unconcentrated?
Pure concentrated.
Pure concentrated in the bottle.
Yeah, pure. Anything stated for the SDS is only for storage and handling of the actual concentrate that's inside of the bottle. Everything on the SDS disappears at the moment you start diluting it. So any hazard, corrosiveness, causticity can all disappear in their respective dilutions. The only thing it needs to state is the risks and safeties for the handling and the storage of the actual product itself.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the people have spoken. They really want the SDS sheets. So we'll look into that and see if that's something that can be put on the US website.
Yeah, if it's necessary. But like I said, most of the time people take from... It's funny because all the videos I've seen about guys diving into SDS sheets, I would take literally go inside their house, and then I look at their hand soap, I will look at their hair gel, and I would look at their shampoos. Those they don't look at. So they are start bitching about what's inside of these chemicals in the pure form that they don't use when they
Right.
are concentrated. And I last time I had a shampoo and it had titanium oxide. That's the second ingredient of STC. My shampoo here at home had titanium oxide, sodium hydroxide, sodium benzenate. You will not believe what they put in household chemicals. Read your fucking toothpaste and then call back to me. And then start, okay, you read your toothpaste and then see what you put in your mouth voluntarily every single day, twice a day, where you jam that fucking toothbrush in your mouth and you start brushing your face with that stuff, with the chemicals, PFAS, and I don't know what's inside. And then they want to know what is inside the chemical that they put on their car. It is the biggest form of hypocrisy about safety in the chemistry. It's fantastic. I love it when people do that.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if it's. I don't think Coma is asking for it for the reason that I'm about to say. So I'll just preface with that. But I know in the TikTok world, everybody is always asking about it because I think they're trying to figure out, what exactly is this. And I've not ran other brands or even like the Labo stuff like through AI, run an SDS sheet through it. It's
Yeah.
not giving you really the formula, right? I mean,
No,
it's not giving you like the recipe, so to speak. Yeah. Okay.
no, but
So
even if you put the recipe there, if you don't know how to cook, it doesn't matter if the ingredients are. You can make a crème brûlée and you can give all the ingredients. Trust me, if you don't know how to cook, you will not be able to make a successful crème brûlée or a tiramisu
right.
or a pasta or a pizza. You're never going to achieve that level as the chef that is actually making it, for sure.
Yeah, Corey, I've got the SDS sheets. So we'll list them if it's necessary. We'll look into that and report back.
Yeah, do if
All
it's
right.
necessary, please put. But my God, there's nothing to hide. Everything's on there.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Removing road paint.
Road paint. What's the road paint? Uh, the road
Yeah.
paint.
What
Are we
is? Yeah.
talking about the white stuff they make the lines with, or is that the stuff they have? Is it like that's more like a plasticky type of a substance? I believe. I'm not sure.
I can only
Uh,
assume that's what they mean by road paint.
yeah, I
The
think.
yellow and white lines.
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I don't want to make any statements because I don't know what they use, but I chemically have not seen anything move from the Labocosmetica range. So you put something on, it's not like it's moving around or it's dissolving or watering down. I've never seen it. Most of the time, it comes down to what I'm touching it with, either a clay bar or tire glue removers. Supposedly work well better because of the toluene inside, but we don't have a tire glue remover. So I'm not. I'm gonna skip this one. I can't make a good recommendation about making this successful and safe,
Mafra.
other than
Mafra probably has a good solution. I would think God, the name of it's slipping my mind.
Deca Flash.
Yes,
Probably. I'm saying
that would
probably
be.
because I want to make any statements that I'm going to be
Yeah.
successful. That's no. Is
Mm.
that the guy's going to buy a gallon of the stuff and then finds out it's not working? He's going to blame me, and he said, "What kind of a guy is this man?"
Using rinseless as a glass cleaner versus Natito. My take on that is I've done that. I mean, I think it does work well, but for me, like a dedicated glass cleaner, I find that my technique matters a little bit less. I mean, glass is obviously very finicky no matter what, but I just find I get better results with Natito. And if you have, like in my case, kids, dog, slobber, children putting God knows what on the glass, or you have someone that vapes in the car or smokes in the car, whatever, Natito is going to work better for sure. But yeah, I've done the rinseless thing for glass.
I
It does work.
I was in Poland this week, where we had the exact same situation. Probably the biggest fan of Hydrosave in the world. He was almost drinking it. This big of a fan of a Polish guy from Lions Garage, PPS, Paint Protection Skin. So they spray the PPF. Amazing company. And he was
Mhm.
so into rinseless that for him it was impossible to sell Nitido. He said, "No, man, I can do the same with the rinseless," and that's the point of the situation is: are you successful with cleaning glass in any situation, given or take, summer, winter, hot, cold? If it's a successful product, then freaking use it. There is no need to succeed or to search for something else if you're already having the greatest success. It becomes interesting
Agree.
at the point. It becomes interesting at the point where I'm saying, okay, I'm having troubles with heat. I'm having troubles with cold. I'm having troubles with cold. I'm having troubles with certain degrees on the surface. Then, okay, maybe it's to start to look at something. But if you have success with rapid rinseless wash at 164, 132, my God, keep using it, man. You're already there. There's nothing need to search for. You're having success. Go for it.
Agree. Agree. There's no need to fix it if it's not broken. Yeah. CS Auto Tech. I see your point. You know, depending on what state you're in, I don't know if you're in like California or something, but I know like in my business, I have to have all the SDS sheets on file. Well, I'd have to check the report because for our fire department, I don't know if it was only hazardous and flammable. I can't remember, but there were certain SDS sheets. I don't know if it was all of them or certain ones that we did have to send to the city and tell them how much we have of it in the building and et cetera, or else you can get in trouble. And that was the case even when I was just detailing and didn't have a tremendous amount of the stuff anyways. So that is a valid point. Are you guys ever going to make a microfiber detergent? I think I know the answer.
If it's going to
It
be,
would have to be something revolutionary and quite different. And I don't know how you like, you know, I'm sure it could be done, but
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
we are
know.
really good at detergents. We've proven that we are really good at detergents. So, if it is possible to make something, if I wanted a microfiber wash, I would rather have a microfiber wash that could literally destroy any protection that's stuck into the microfiber right after application. So if it's either, okay, I'm not going to say physical ceramic coatings like Blend or STC, but if it has HPC Pro or sealant inside, and I can just throw this microfiber wash in there, and then they come out and they will still be as absorbing as the day before, not being hydrophobic by themselves. That it looks like they had any textile coat on it. That is what I think. If that is something that we can create, then definitely we have to look into finding something like that. But for now, if you look at Nitido, we took 7 years to make Nitido or to finish Nitido before we had something special. The same goes with the spray coating. We are on the way. How many times has it gone before I said something special? It's been that was formulation number 4. So it takes very long. Textile coat has been on since I got there in 2018. I've seen bottles of textile coat, so that's an ongoing project. A metal polish I've seen that has been postponed so many times because we want to have a metal polish that can actually really do something other than masking or brightening up the metal a little bit, but literally go inside the real. Yeah, you guys in the United States have the real chrome steel fenders still and the bumpers and stuff like that. You know that so to polish those back to real. Yeah, you know, you take these what these guys use in the what is it? They do the grinder and they have these stones. They take the stone and they have this cotton wheel and their face turns black. That's the type of metal polish I'm talking about, and that needs to be something really special before it lands into Labocosmetica.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've tried having been around. I mean, I'm not been around the industry like forever, but I guess it's been hmm, wow, like close to 20 years, I guess, at this point since I've been buying detailing products. So, you know, I've seen so many of them come out where it's like everyone's this is like the best one. And it's like the microfiber detergent thing for me is I've tried a lot. And there's only one that actually impressed me that I felt like it was actually different from the other ones in terms of how soft the towels were. Now I've not gone down the rabbit hole to see why is that, what is it doing, is it having some possible negative impact or whatever, you know, but I'll say if you lined up every single one of them, I feel like they all get the dirt out roughly the same. They all work roughly the same, and you can even use like store brand, you know, like the clear and or free and clear and the wool lights and things like that. I'm like, it just, you know, so That's one of those product categories that I don't put too much attention into, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, of course, for research purposes, I have to research a lot. I have to try a lot of products and something. But sometimes they just hit a home run, and then it's going to be a very long time before you switch to something else. It either needs to be either so extremely cheap or overperforming or highly dilutable, or cost per use is going to be so low before you switch to something. At
Yeah.
some point something is really good and something's just really good, and then yeah, you just keep it. It doesn't make any sense to start hunting for something that probably doesn't even exist, and you're already having the best in your hand. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I agree. With microfiber, I would argue just buy the highest quality towels you can. That's going to make the biggest difference than anything else. I mean, you can have the fanciest detergent, but if your towels are falling apart, it's like, whatever. All right, question about. Well, there was one question before this. Is there plans for a non-protective version of HydroSave?
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
like yes.
Prioritization is prioritization. So eventually,
Mhm.
I've already had some of the versions, so to speak, and now with the release of the build hammer one, we have a new benchmark. So if we release one without any protection, it definitely needs to be able to be up there with that, for sure.
This is actually a good question because I mean, Neve is the one that it just doesn't fit in my regimen at all because my cars are not well taken care of. I mean, I assume this is really for the car's been sitting in the garage. It's dusty. It does not need chemistry in terms of alkalinity or acidic. It's just you're using it as a pre-wash to just get the dust and
It's
off
actually a
before you
really
start
good question.
contact washing.
As soon as Primus was launched, Nava was already in danger. We literally
Right.
almost killed one of our own products because what he's saying is absolutely the correctest. Nava is almost obsolete when you have Primus. That is also safe for the protection, but much, much stronger. So where does Nava then fit into? Now, you will have the hardcore pH neutral guys that will literally want to have pH neutral all the freaking time. You have people that want to wash in a frequency or so much times per week that then Primus becomes too expensive. And then the dilution ratio of Nava is almost double. So there is no sense going over 1 to 10 in a foam gun with Primus. After that, I would say, go 1 to 15, something like this. You are already losing so much alkalinity because of the water running through the foam gun, exponentially enlarging the dilution ratio. And therefore, you're then losing alkalinity and you're moving into the emollient range. So you're moving into the softening of the dirt, lifting, softening, weakening the dirt, and then making it easier to rinse. Now, Nava has almost double, 1 to 20, I believe, in good water. If the water is too hard, you will have to compensate. But
Mhm.
Nava is designed literally to be dried up in sunlight 100%. A side effect of that, we found out that Primus is also capable of doing this, but you will never go to that extremes with an alkaline shampoo and alkaline pre-wash. With Nava, I literally did it in the cooking hot sun and let it just go away and see what was left
Mhm.
behind. And that what was left behind was easily rinsed off. So for thousand, million, 1,000% of safety, Nava, and for every day-to-day washing with a high dilution ratio, makes sense to have Nava. But if you already have Primus, this is the one. Yeah, we almost killed it. We almost killed it by launching Primus.
Yeah, I think it's a very specific use case at this point, but
Yeah, like you said, dusty, garage kept, don't want to touch the car, easy. Now with the new foaming on, rinsing off, foaming on, contact washing, that type of thing makes Nava also very nice because I have to be honest, washing a car while foam is on, that gliding surface, that felt feeling of silkiness when you are just pushing away the foam is really something else. I really like that.
let's see. Primus foam cannon or spray bottle is one more effective? I would say the spray bottle is probably more effective,
For
right?
sure. For
In terms
sure.
of
For sure.
chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. The dilution is higher. The concentration is higher. It hits the surface in a spray. It works immediately. Foam in the same detergent or the same dilution ratio works slower. So 1 to 10 in foam and 1 to 10 in spray. the same will move slower. So the foam will take longer to get to that cleaning, where the spray will immediately hit it and then start cleaning at the point it starts touching the surface.
Before we answer this one, I don't know where it went. Disappeared. Before we answer this one, BTW 574 PIR recommendations. I do have a file that I can send you. So just email podcast@parkscarcare.com and I can share those with you.
Are you able
so
to
wax?
Oh yeah.
Over HydroSave.
Let me see. I believe that the amount of friction applied by using a wax could remove that what HydroSave in its normal dilution of 1 to 256 has left behind. Because you're rubbing the surface with, rubbing is maybe a strong word, but you are caressing the surface with something like a foam. And that is definitely possible to remove that what is left behind from HydroSave, because the protection is there. It is it's pretty stout, almost like a ceramic coating in a rinseless. But indeed, you could definitely do it, but I'm not going to vouch for the amount of duration you're going to get. So it would be a guess what I'm now doing, a guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my stance on that is you could, but I'm sure there's a lot of variables depending on what type of wax and how it reacts. And I would almost do the inverse, right? I would wax the car and then I would use HydroSave to probably maintain it. Ability to wash and dry on paint.
Ooh. Initio ability. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so as it was explained to me, and as I've seen it with my own eyes, if you use Initio, the ready-to-use pre-wash from Labocosmetica, only to be used in a spray, put a trigger on it, call it a fire and forget weapon. You Americans love that phrase, fire and forget. Imagine being in a hot summer, you're in a hot temperature, you still want to pre-wash your car, you start spraying it, and by the time you start at the bumper, you make the round around the car, everything is already dried in. Now, we thought of that, of course. This is the main reason why this is ready to use. Also for the end user, the weekend warrior, the prosumer, to have a very potent pre-wash that is 100% safe for the surface. What those surfactants do is they dry, but they dry a lot slower. So what you see is like this greasy film of surfactants and detergents on the car that are done in a dormant state. They are not dried up, because when a detergent dries up, it's not doing anything, because there's nothing to keep the molecules in suspense. The water is gone. What those surfactants and initio do is they make it in dormant state. So as soon as it starts hitting the water again, or you start rinsing, they reactivate and you rinse everything off perfectly clean. Now, I love to do a demonstration with these products during training. So now I implement them inside a 3 pH wash, for example. I do a 3 pH demonstration, and I add a little piece of initio that I leave behind during the entire explanation of Primus, Purifica, Sempra, and I walk through the entire line almost before I start washing. After that time, that initio has been cooking into the surface about 10 minutes. Everybody starts looking because they think, oh, Reggie forgot, he forgot. But I do this on purpose. Then we rinse off and they see everything clears up perfectly, not harming any protection, making absolutely a perfect perfect rinsing result.
Is that okay to do in the sun?
Yeah, it's designed to go that way, definitely.
Okay. I'll have to try that. Simper in the foam gun, no. Bucket only, don't do it.
Don't do it. Ask Jamie Pardee. Ask Jamie Pardee from the House of Rags if you can foam on Sempa.
Yeah, you're gonna need to get the Primus out and wash it.
Or a lot of alcohol.
Or that. Oh. Recent hype around tire cleaning. Is this I guess I'm not current with the time. So is there recent hype? Because I know throughout the last decade plus, I've seen stuff about tire cleaners damaging the tires and drying it out too much and all that. Is that what we're referring to, HMB?
Yeah.
The recent hype? Okay.
Sheepstar.
I have
Shout out
very
to Brian. Shout out to Brian for hunting down the truth. Brian Josephson, Sheepstar, YouTube Online, kicking
oh
against
yeah,
the
Sheepstar
industry.
did do a deep dive on that.
Yes.
What
And
was the verdict? Because my layman's like kind of thought process in that is your car's on the road. You know, there's all sorts of shit on the road. Your tires get exposed to all sorts of different chemicals. I mean, how bad could it really be unless you're using some crazy strong cleaner? But what was his verdict
well,
on that test?
he is his main job makes him somewhat of an expert, and his network makes him somewhat of a bigger expert. So he has the
Okay.
yes, so I don't know. Yeah. So what he said is really true. This is
Hmm.
validated by, you could call any tire manufacturer, that browning coming out is actually the anti-ozone agents keeping the tire flexible, I believe, or doesn't prevent it from actually cracking. The flexibility, elasticity, or whatever that is. And indeed, I've known this for years because I'm a Dutch guy. I don't like to spend money. We are famous for this. And I
Hmm.
was always wondering, how dirty is that tire really compared to the rim? Do I see the same amount of dirt on the tire that I see on the rim? No, I see much more nightmares on the rim than I see on the tire. So
Hmm.
it didn't make sense to me that all those years that I've been doing this, and I see this color change, and I go like, where is it coming from? I see there's a little film of, but if I take my finger and I spit and I rub it, it's already gone. So the entire, and this is culture, because I already went in the 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this. I went to about 35 different countries around the world. I've been to countries where this browning was actually seen as something negative. So they wanted a wheel cleaner that did not do this. So when they were being introduced with
Yeah,
the
you've
wheel and
told me
tire
about
cleaner
that
from,
before.
yeah. So it is a cultural thing that in this culture of detailing, and those cultures, believe me, people go all over the place. You think you have seen detailing. Now I can tell you, I've seen things that is going to make you not sleep at night anymore. The memes you see online, what people do as fun things, I have actually seen in real countries being done as professional detailing, power washing interiors. You will not believe what I've seen. If it is a good thing I have PTSS from Afghanistan, because I would not be sitting here right now, because I would
I've
not cope
seen
with.
I've seen videos of pressure washing interiors. And I'm like,
Yeah, and
holy
I've seen
shit,
it in real
that's
life where people actually pay for this service and make their interiors clean. But indeed, this hype about the tire cleaning is literally, it is an over exaggerated amount of, oh look, and this is just by when the blind is following the blind. You see one guy doing it, and then everybody starts copying it like it's a good thing. But remember that all the people that have said this do not have any knowledge about tires, do not have any knowledge about tire manufacturers, and they also don't have any knowledge about the chemistry they are using. So basically,
so what was the verdict? He was saying that
yeah,
it
it's
is
damaging.
harmful. It's
Yeah,
damaging. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's the same when you use a chemical that is not designed to go to the surface to make something clean, and it looks clean. The same when you're using a too strong of an acid, you can diminish the surface so it becomes more susceptible to becoming dirty. You could porose the surface, or damage the surface in such a micromolecular way it's going to accept more dirt. There are so many separate, I would say, collateral damages from chemicals that we are using. Acids, for
mhm,
example, on the wheel, very good, but if they land on the brake disc, they corrode faster, they break down faster,
yeah.
brake pads dissolve faster. And it's the same discussion with the tire dressing. Tire dressing prevent the tire from cracking. Well, if that's true, why is nobody doing the inside of the tire? Only the
Yeah.
outside, exposed to the
Oh
sun.
no. Like
Please.
it's my thing with all of this is, and I mean, I am not an expert on tires. To what degree? All these it might all be true. Like if the cleaner is damaging to the tire, okay, yes, but to what degree? If does the tire dressing actually keep it from cracking, but to what degree? Like I mean, how significant is it really? I guess would be my where my mind goes with that. Um, CS says Sheepstar's video is wrong and that he works with people that engineer tires. So CS, you should make a video, do a response. Labo
That's funny
foam
because the
cannons.
Sheepstar also works with tire guys, or
Yeah.
used to work with
Well,
tire guys, or works with tire guys.
it's I think it's like any topics, right? Like if you get the top experts into a room, the people who understand it on a crazy high level, they might not agree on everything. There might be some differing opinions or different studies done, things like that. I mean, that is a rabbit hole.
For sure,
That's a rabbit hole.
sure, it's not going to be beneficial. For sure, attacking it with such a powerful chemical is not going to be beneficial for the tire. For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like like the purple powers and the dark fury and stuff like that. I'm like, I would not want to clean my tires with that all the time. I feel like it would probably degrade them quicker.
I mean, we proved this week, or Corey proved this week, that you can clean a tire and remove former tire dressing with a non-harmful product and not create any browning, but clean the tire completely. He used the Varius in a most successful way. Perfect result, perfect cleanliness, nothing left behind. Perfect result to put something on back for new. Tire dressings for me are purely aesthetic. Nice natural shine or nice glossy satin finish is something I like really much, but it's more for the eye. It fits nice to the rest of the car that's already glossy. But during training, I also never say something like preventing cracking because I've never seen a tire crack. Because after that moment that it starts to crack, if you look at there's this 4 number somewhere, it's in a little circle, it's a 4 numbers, the manufacturing date. And at some point you have to change the tire, not because the tread is gone, but you have to change the tire because you're at the end of the lifespan of the tire. I also went to the desert. That's why I saw my first real cracked tires. I've also seen Dakar trucks where they have literally cracked tires after one rally. And those have not been cleaned and those have not been exposed to the sun, but they just have been battered through a rally. So, it's like I said, if somebody actually goes online, if somebody from Michelin or somebody from Apollo or from Maxxis goes online and said, ladies and gentlemen, we are putting this stuff in the tires. Please don't clean our tires with these chemicals because they destroy them. Then we have the first official statement from a tire manufacturer saying, if you do this to our tires, you're degrading it. Other than that, we're still spitballing here.
For sure. For sure. Well said. All right. I think we got one more question here. We're 2 hours in, so we'll pick one more here and then call it. Let's see.
Copy that.
I'll pick this one. So I will answer one more real quick. EJB about Omnia and Texia replacing Glico and Ductile. No, go check out the interior podcast video. That question will get answered in detail. But let's see. This is a good one to end on. I know you don't know that. I mean, maybe you do the exact dollar amount.
I actually do.
Okay,
the amount, I let's say, because no year is the same, of course. Every company has turnover, and then you have profits. I know we put 10% of profit back into R&D.
Okay,
and that's it's a well-running company since 1965. So there is profit being made, and we are still expanding, and therefore I can tell you with pride is a sin. I cannot say that, but I'm very happy to say that we put a lot of money and effort to putting back in R&D. And to give you an example, making a ceramic coating, if we have to make a ceramic coating and we start with nothing with a formulation, if they have to buy small quantities from a certain chemical, raw material, ingredient, they are much, 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 much more expensive than if you buy a big gallon or an IBC or a huge amount. So developing a ceramic coating by itself, every single jar could cost up to a couple of $100. And the jar is then being thrown away because the formulation is just not right. And the other one, and the other one, and the other one, and the other one. And then before you have a working formulation and you send that to some of your dealers, they start testing. And then you can imagine how much money goes into one development of a product. Glico, for example, Glico was a huge project to make Glico and to find the right chemicals to suitably remove safely. That was into the fabric seats and an acidic range, glycolic acid and lactic acid, but then much, much more refined. What that cost per kilo was ridiculous. How many $100 that per kilo costed when you start, or per 2 pounds, 2.2 pounds before we started the actual production.
Yeah, that's crazy. And to think, all brands are definitely not created equal. If you look at the pace of which some of these people come out of nowhere and then they have all these new products constantly, and it's like, how much time is actually being put into all this,
Yeah. No, it take a lot of time. It's sometimes frustrating because sometimes, like I said, with something special, That was version 4.3 or formulation 4 version 3. Now we have formulation 7. 4.3 was for me, it was the best. It was fantastic. It did everything it needed to do. But then one of the raw ingredients inside of one of the solvents was carcinogenic, and it didn't fit the philosophy of Labocosmetica. So yeah, there we go.
Crazy. A lot of time and money. Well, hey man, this was awesome.
Now I know who fucking Kolmo is. Kolmo is from Slovenia. He was the guy that won the giveaway at the House of Rags a couple of weeks ago when I did a live giveaway. And he it would be so easier if people put their real names. I can actually know who it is, man. Hey, Mr. I was very good. I'm very happy you got your prizes, and was very easy to arrange because my good friend Gaspar from Aperitivo Auto was very happy to assist me. But I said to him, I'm going to pay for them myself. So I paid retail price for those products because I said this is just for me and no Labocosmetica in between. I just pay for them myself, and then Gaspar sent them, and now we have another happy customer.
That's awesome, man. We got to do that on our next one. The Cots box. That's
and a big giveaway. Another big giveaway for sure. But this is we definitely have to do this because this is the American way. You give something away for free, and it has to be nice. And for the first time for this, I had more good questions in one stream or in one live stream or whatever you want to call it. But I had more good questions in this one than in all the podcasts I've done in those years before, for sure. So my gratitude goes to the people answering and asking these questions, people keeping the chat alive, of course, Corey, Adamo being first, everybody that commented into this video. Don't know what to say. If this is the first one, I am already looking forward to the next one. This kind of high quality conversation is the stuff that makes my job a lot easier and makes me well motivated to keep going like this.
Yeah, man, I like this. I mean, I've done a little bit of live streaming on TikTok, and I really enjoyed it. And for you and I, it's easier. Like, we can just set one of these weekly or something like that. I know our schedules get crazy, but when you don't have a specific topic lined up and you can just wing it, like you said, I mean, the chat keeps it going. So appreciate all you guys leaving comments and asking great questions.
Yeah, I have no life, man. I got more than enough time to do this.
Awesome, man. Well, you and I, we'll link up and we'll get the next one planned, man. This will be great. And
yeah,
we'll promote it even earlier this time. I know this first one was kind of like a feeler, post or whatever, but we can start getting a cadence to it and get more people in here.
Yeah, don't know what to say. What great input. And yeah, if it keeps going like this, I will wake up in the middle of the night for this. So if primetime United States is necessary to get this live stream going, just say the word to Nick and I'll make it happen. I will get up in the middle of the night. Like I said, I have no life. I will go to the gym in the middle of the night. I don't give a shit. I'm here for you guys.
That's it. Well, I just threw it in the comments, podcast@parkscarcare.com. If y'all have any questions ahead of time, I know sometimes you have a thought that pops into your mind and you might forget before the next episode. Just email it to us. We always answer any of those that get sent in. So thanks again to everybody. And Reggie, I'll catch you later, man.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good night.
Peace out. See ya.